Okay, so I've got a problem. I need to do a review on a piece of equipment, but I've got a bunch of guys tuning into this channel expecting me to be cooking something and showing them how to do it. How can I get them to tune in for a product review? I got it. I'm going to do a non-review review. Because I'm Ralph, welcome to my kitchen, and we're going to be reviewing as we go the Joyami hot air fryer. First off, let me give you some background. I don't really think of myself as a hot air fryer kind of guy. I just found out that this piece of equipment over here that I thought was a toaster oven is a hot air fryer. Problems that I have is that with the door, I do have lots of access. These are easy to stick into the dishwasher. But look at the crumbs that can build up right there at the door opening. Now, traditionally, I've treated this like a toaster oven. I've made toast. I've roasted some potatoes in there, basically using the oven feature. I've hardly ever really used that hot air feature because it's basically a toaster oven that has a convection feature in it. Let me put you back here. Now we're talking about the Joyami hot air fryer, which comes with this handy little instruction book. I'm going to tell you right now, most guys don't read these things, right? You know I'm true. One thing you ought to know though is that like most hot air fryers, and for that matter, most nonstick surfaces tell you, and specifically says so in here, don't use Pam spray. So with that said, enough said about that. Right, let's move on. Pretty cool little machine. But as I said, what I've typically used these machines for is toast. This is what I made in my hot air fryer. You just put it in. You cram it shut. You toast it at the same temperature you would in your toaster, about 370 degrees. 3, 4, 5 minutes. And this is how it comes out. A little bit lighter on the bottom. If you want it more evenly toasted halfway through, you're going to want to take it out, flip it. So for the basics, yes, it does toast. You want to heat up a muffin, just slip it, stick it in, put it on for about 400 degrees. Now these are pretty big sized muffins that I got from Costco, so I leave it in there for 2 minutes. Now I've only had this thing for a few days and I've been playing with it, and the toast comes out great, the muffins come out great, but what else can we do? Well, if you watch most of these hot air fryer deals, one of the things that they show you is taking a bag of frozen French fries, sticking it in there and cook. But that's not really what this show is about. This show is about being a little bit more original with what we do. So I have got some fries here that I cut up from a potato earlier. I boiled them for about 8 minutes, putting salt into the boiling water, putting vinegar into that boiling water because it will come out with a better product in the long run. But I'm just going to take these, which I also added. Again, you don't use that Pam spray, but regular oil in a spray bottle or a pump mixer is just fine. Some products, like this one by Chosen with the avocado spray, just has air in it. It's just basically compressed air. So those are fine. You just don't want things with a lot of chemicals in it. Now I sprayed peanut oil, and I used peanut oil because peanut oil is going to get you crispier fries. So I'm just going to take those, dump them in, spread them out, let you see how I'm spreading them out in there. You can even stack a few. Not too bad. Shut the drawer, and it's an easy opening and closing door. As you'll see, It's got a whole bunch of presets on there, but hey, I'm a guy. I don't like to be told what to do. I'm going to do things my own way, right? Am I right, guys? You're right. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it around till I get to 400 degrees. Doesn't matter what object it's on because it's at the right temperature. Now, this flips back between the temperature and the time. So I'm going to wait till it gets back to the time. And I'm going to lower that to about, 5 minutes here. Now I'm expecting that these probably are going to take more like 10, 11 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. We're going to find out. But I'm going to do it till 5 minutes first. Pull them out, shake them around a little bit, put them back in, and see how it goes at the 10-minute point. Normally when I do this recipe, I would have put them into the regular oven at 425 and they'd be in there for about 25 to 30 minutes. This hopefully is going to be cooking them a whole lot faster. So let's see how that works. And we'll come back in about 5. Okay, we've gotten to the halfway point. Gonna check on them, pull them out. They're starting to brown up a little bit. If you don't believe me, check that out. We're gonna shake them up. And stick them back in. Gonna do it again. Let's go to 6 minutes. And it started. Now, let me point something else out about hot air fryers in general. This one in particular, you don't want to get them too close to the back wall because you got vents back here. And those vents put out a lot of hot air. Now another nice thing, it's also got a light. So you can see, you can check on what the product inside looks like without having to open it up. So with that said, we'll be back in just a few minutes and see how these are turning out. Okay, the time is not up yet, but I want to show you another feature. If while it's running, you pull a drawer out, it stops. That doesn't happen on all of the hot air fryers. It does on this model. And it just resumes. It knows where the timer is, and it just takes off from where you left off. Okay, that's the end of the next 6 minutes. I'm gonna just leave it in because I want to make sure that these are good and crispy. I'm gonna leave them in for maybe another 2 minutes. Now with that said, let me tell you about something else I have coming up later in this program. If you will stick around till the very end, I'm going to show you how to make the crunchiest skin on a chicken that you've probably ever seen. We're going to be using chicken wings, but it'll work just as well on a whole chicken. We're going to be using aged chicken. That's right, I've had chicken sitting out in the refrigerator for the last 3 days. I'm going to show you how that's going to turn into some of the crunchiest skin you're ever going to produce. Be sure to stay on with us. It's done. They are looking great. I'm just going to pour them out here. Give them a second to cool down. Now, you can reheat pizzas or fries in these as well. So if I were to leave these fries out, let's say this is the middle of the afternoon because I'm doing this show, but I want to eat these for dinner, it doesn't matter. I can put them back in the basket, heat them up for a minute or two, and they're going to come out just as fresh as they are now. That's the beauty of these hot air fryers. Now, let me add a little bit of salt here, a little pinch of salt. Got very good texture here, bubbling up nice. But moving on, before I taste those, I'm going to put in a pizza. I talked about how well they reheat pizza. This one, it's pre-made from Costco, but it's not pre-cooked yet. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to do it at 400 degrees. Now, why am I doing it 400? Well, it doesn't go up any higher than 400. But that's all I'd want to do it at anyway. And I'm going to do that I'm going to set it for 5 minutes before I check on it and see how that comes out. In the meantime, let's taste one of these fries. That's incredible. It's nice and crisp on the outside, still very mushy on the inside. It's got really good salt flavor. Not just because I salted it just now, but because when I boiled them first, to kind of pre-cook them a little bit before you actually cook them, which is what you would do if you were supposed to do if you fried them in oil or did them in the oven. That gets you a little bit firmer texture so they don't fall apart. But since I had salt in that water, it also helped to absorb some of that salt flavor into the fries. Now, Gunner's kind of anxious. I think he wants some too. Come here, Guns. Come here. Okay, there you go. Oh, he's loving those fries. Yeah. Gotta have another one. And we'll be back in a moment to check on that pizza. Okay, the Joyami hot air fryer just ended the cycle. Now the instructions for this pizza was to preheat the oven to 450 degrees, then bake for about 8 minutes. We only had it at 400 degrees. We only put it in for, about 5 minutes? And this is what the pizza is looking like. Nicely browned, bubbly cheese. Looking really good. Let me show you what we've got here. Not too shabby. Now I'm going to give that a moment to cool down. In fact, I'm going to cut it up a little bit. Oh man, I can hear that crust. It's a crispy crust. This is ideal. That is holding up really well. So I'm going to give that another moment to cool down a little bit. Now, time for the big part of the show. I'm going to use some of my avocado spray. Get my chicken wings out. Now this is what the chicken wings look like. Aged 3 days, left open in the refrigerator. I pre-seasoned them. I used the Bearded Butcher black seasoning. I love this stuff, use it on all kinds of things. I will have a link down below to the Joyami hot air fryer, and I'll go ahead and toss in a link to the black seasoning. I don't get anything from the black seasoning. I will tell you right now, Joyami sent this to me. I did not have to pay for it. If it had negatives, I would tell you. So far, I've only been finding positives, and I've been playing with this thing for days. I've really been loving it. So, yes, I will get a little bit of a commission, but it will not cost you a dime more if you choose to order one. And a lot of the things we're talking about today will work on any kind of hot air fryer. So I'm just going to get these distributed in here. Let you see how that is laid out in there. I'm going to put these in. I'm going to set it up at 400, and I'm going to put it in for 8 minutes. Now, if there's any negative that I've found, is that there's no separate buttons for the heat and the temperature. It kind of just automatically goes back and forth between them, and you have to wait till you're on the right cycle to adjust it. But that's a pretty minor inconvenience. So I'm going to do 400 degrees for 8 minutes. and then we'll check on it and see what it looks like. Now, before we get too far, you'll notice that I sprayed the bottom tray because I did not want them sticking to the tray. But I did not put any spray on the top of the chicken wings. That was on purpose. When I aged the chicken, it sucked a lot of the moisture out of the skin. I do not want to be adding that moisture back onto the skin. It will cause that skin to absorb that moisture and it won't be as crispy as it should be coming out this way. Okay, the timer's just gone off. Let's see what we've got. It's looking pretty darn good. How hot is it? That is reading 196, 195. And what temperature is it safe to eat poultry? 165. We're done. And how long did that take? 8 minutes. Let me get one of these out. That is some crunchy skin, y'all. That is awesome. And that is extremely hot. So I'm going to give it a moment to cool down and then we're going to take a test bite. In the meantime, if you're liking what you're seeing, hit the like button down below. Give us a subscription maybe. And we will be back to cooking our normal stuff. But I think that this little product is pretty incredible. I mean, I don't know what this thing can't do. If you can bake it, grill it, toast it, you can do it in a hot air fryer. The Joyami seems to be a good hot air fryer. I'll tell you what, I've been pretty impressed. With that said, let's give this chicken a try. Wow, that is so juicy inside. When you age the chicken like that, that skin gets really tight and dry, but then it traps all the moisture inside the piece of chicken. And that's why it maintains all that moisture. That's going to be some of the best, crunchiest chicken you've ever had. Take my word for it. I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.